Welcome to our U.S. Briefing Show. Today, we're diving into some hot topics from across the nation. First up, the U.S. House is considering bringing back the controversial China Initiative, a program aimed at Chinese American researchers. While critics warn it could stifle innovation and racial bias, the bill hints at a renewed effort to stay ahead of China in global competition. It's a tense political move that might not even pass the Senate, but it definitely stirs up a lot of debate. Next, let's talk about copper tariffs. Despite a hefty 50% tax on copper exports to protect U.S. metals, the flow to China keeps going strong. Cheaper shipping costs and China's growing domestic processing mean American scrap dealers still send copper overseas. So, unfortunately, those tariffs aren't doing much to change the game. U.S. copper continues to flow to Asia, and experts warn that investing in new infrastructure is still a risky bet. Finally, we turn to California's water woes. Many low-income Latino and indigenous communities are struggling with unsafe tap water filled with harmful contaminants like arsenic. Despite laws promising clean water, over 878,000 residents rely on bottled water, which costs a lot and creates environmental waste. Experts say infrastructure improvements and community trust are key to solving this crisis, but it's a long road ahead. Please continue to watch for more details. The South China Morning Post reports that the U.S. House is considering a bill that could revive the controversial China Initiative, a program initially launched in 2018 to combat economic espionage but widely criticized for racial bias and inefficacy. Despite its termination in 2022, language in the new legislation suggests a desire to re-establish it under the guise of maintaining America's competitive edge and countering China's ambitions. Prominent Asian American scientists, including MIT engineer Gang Chen and signatories like Nobel laureates Stephen Chu and Carolyn Bertozzi, have voiced strong opposition, arguing that such measures harm America's ability to attract top talent and ultimately weaken national security. Experts warn that reinstating the initiative could serve China's recruitment efforts and exacerbate discrimination against Chinese American researchers, with political signals indicating a potential shift toward a more aggressive stance by the Department of Justice toward Chinese scholars, despite skepticism about the legislation's likelihood to pass the Senate. Meanwhile, the South China Morning Post highlights that President Trump's new 50% tariffs on copper are failing to curb exports to China, as U.S. scrap dealers like Aaron Forcash find it more economical to ship copper overseas than domestically. The tariffs, intended to bolster U.S. copper production, have instead driven prices to record highs, prompting companies to front-load shipments before the tariffs take effect. However, structural issues such as limited U.S. processing capacity and the logistical convenience of exporting via backhauls mean that copper continues to flow to China, the world's largest importer of processed copper. Industry analysts emphasize that the U.S.'s reliance on imports and the uncertain future of tariffs make significant domestic investment in copper refining risky, with the current dynamics favoring continued exports of scrap copper and maintaining China's steady supply chain. The Associated Press sheds light on the ongoing water crisis in California's eastern Coachella Valley, where many low-income Latino and indigenous farmworkers rely on contaminated or unreliable tap water. Despite over a decade of legislative recognition of residents' right to safe water, thousands remain connected to failing systems that pose health risks, including high arsenic levels. Distrust of tap water persists, fueled by past crises like Flint, Michigan, and compounded by experiences of pollution and neglect in marginalized communities. Residents often resort to bottled water and water donations, with organizations like Todak providing free supplies and conducting educational programs. Experts highlight that perceptions of unsafe tap water, shaped by historical contamination and systemic inequalities, lead to negative health behaviors and environmental waste, underscoring the urgent need for infrastructure improvements and community trust-building efforts to ensure equitable access to clean water for all Californians. CNN vividly portrays the cultural divide between Americans and Europeans regarding the preference for ice in beverages. In the sweltering heat of European cities like Paris, Rome, and Athens, tourists often find themselves frustrated by the scarcity of ice, a stark contrast to the American obsession with chilled drinks. This difference is rooted in historical and cultural origins, with Americans developing a deep-seated love for ice due to the 19th-century ice industry pioneered by Frederick Tudor, who made ice a symbol of status and convenience. Meanwhile, Europeans generally view ice as unnecessary or even unappealing, favoring room-temperature drinks and considering ice to dilute flavors and spill easily. The social media phenomenon capturing Americans' surprise at European drink customs underscores how ingrained this preference is in American identity, a tradition that has persisted for over a century and continues to influence modern habits. Associated Press reports a tragic incident at the University of New Mexico, where a shooting in a dormitory resulted in 1 death and 1 injury, with the suspect still at large. Authorities swiftly responded by shutting down the campus and urging students to shelter in place, highlighting the ongoing threat of gun violence on college campuses. The incident underscores the urgent need for safety measures and law enforcement intervention in the face of such violence, with the university taking immediate action to protect its community. The details surrounding the victims remain undisclosed, but the event has cast a shadow over the Albuquerque campus, emphasizing the persistent danger of gun-related incidents in educational environments. Yahoo US shares the compelling stories of paralyzed travelers who navigate extraordinary challenges to explore the world. These individuals reveal the complex logistics involved in traveling with paralysis, from accessible transportation and specialized accommodations to the need for advanced planning and support. Their experiences shed light on the resilience and determination required to overcome physical barriers, illustrating how travel for people with disabilities is often a meticulous process that demands patience, resourcefulness, and a supportive environment. Their stories serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of accessibility and inclusivity in travel, inspiring awareness and advocacy for more equitable opportunities for all adventurers. Deutsche Welle reports that despite widespread global recognition of Palestine as a state, many Western nations condition their endorsement on a comprehensive peace agreement with Israel. France has notably become the first G7 country to announce its intention to recognize Palestinian statehood, with President Emmanuel Macron affirming plans to formalize this at the UN General Assembly. This move drew condemnation from Israel and the US, who argued it would legitimize Hamas, a designated terrorist organization, yet received praise from Spain, Norway, Ireland, and the Palestinian Authority. Most countries around the world already recognize Palestine, with 143 out of 193 UN members voting in favor of recognition in 2024, although full UN membership remains blocked by the US veto. Historically, recognition has grown gradually since the PLO's Declaration of Independence in 1988, with countries across Asia, Latin America, and Africa establishing diplomatic ties and recognizing Palestine as a sovereign state. Recent developments include recognition from Caribbean nations like the Bahamas and Jamaica, and Latin American shifts such as Colombia's move to open an embassy in Ramallah amid declining relations with Israel. The Western stance remains cautious. While supporting a two-state solution, many countries insist recognition depends on a peace deal, with Germany unlikely to follow France's lead due to its strong support for Israel. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Got a glow so big and bright. Open it and take a flight. Learn about the stars and see. Everything is here for me. Flip the pages one by one. Knowledge under the sun. From dinosaurs to galaxies, a world of endless mysteries. Encyclopedia, yay. Facts and fun all day. From A to Z, let's see. Curious minds run free. Jump into the pages deep. Secrets that you want to keep. Time will fly and you will find magic lies in every line. Animals minds all start to grow. Encyclopedia, yay! Facts and fun all day. From A to Z, let's see. Curious minds run free, yeah. Jump into the pages deep, secrets that you want to keep. Time will fly and you will find magic lies in every line. To run free line, every line's run free. Animals and history, science full of mystery.